Good afternoon. I'm Rashmi Shah. I'm a PGPX student at MYRA School of Business. Today here with us is Dr. Raghavendra Rau. He's from University of Cambridge, UK, and he is a professor of finance. He is here to teach us advanced corporate finance. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
So you being a professor of finance, how important do you think is advanced corporate finance for any MBA student, manager or entrepreneurs?
Okay. Well, the answer is it's essential for all of them. But then I wouldn't say anything else, right? I wouldn't say don't study my course because it's totally unessential. No. As I point out in class, finance is a set of very basic ideas, and you really need to understand these ideas at an intuitive level. So what I try to do is build on the existing corporate finance course you've already done. That course just exposed you to the concepts, but we didn't spend any time on that in this course. The advanced corporate finance goes back into the same idea, and we do a number of cases, which essentially you figure out just how you do this in real life. These are talk about real companies which are making these decisions in the real world. So you really need to understand how to apply the ideas which you just understood in the corporate finance course.
So true. So recently we heard and read that you received you've been awarded a Nobel Prize.
Ig Nobel Prize. Not the
Ig
Nobel
Prize. At Ig Nobel Prize ceremony at Harvard Business School. So tell us something about your research.
Well, about the Ig Nobel Award or in general research?
Your research for which you were awarded.
Oh, that one. Okay, well actually the Ig Nobel Prize is kind of like a spoof on the Nobel. So it's awarded for research that makes people laugh and then makes them think. And the particular piece of research which I was doing was looking at what basically affects CEOs' risk-taking behavior when they become CEOs. And it's nice to be able to predict this because you want to know what kind of CEO will take a lot of risks and what kind of CEO will not take a lot of risks. And there has been some psychological evidence that show that people when they're growing up, whatever influences they have in their life when they're growing up, influences your behavior when you're an adult. Right? Basically you turn into your parents. Whatever your parents did, you become like that eventually. But the problem is, measuring this empirically is very difficult. You can't call a CEO and say, by the way, where did you grow up, how were your parents, what kind of stress did you have? You can't ask them this. And we didn't ask anybody. We basically collected names and birth dates and places for 1,700 CEOs across the US. Okay? And then we looked at, in those areas where they grew up, what natural disasters there were. The idea was, if you're growing up in a town which is lots of natural disasters, like tornado season. Tornadoes happen every year in Down Tornado Alley in the US. But if a tornado has never hit you, and you keep thinking about tornadoes, but nothing ever happens to you, you think, it's not a big deal, risk I can handle. So your mind develops in a way that 30 years later when you become a CEO, you're much more likely to take risks than another CEO who has had the same type of experience as you, but a tornado hit his town and basically destroyed, property, killed people. That person takes on a lot less CEO than the first CEO. So the title of the paper we probably got was what got at the Ig Nobel. It's called What Doesn't Kill You Will Make You More Risk-Loving.
That's very interesting. So talking about MYRA, so this is your third consecutive year at MYRA. So what brings you to MYRA every single year?
It's a nice environment. I like being here. It's Mysore is very close to my own hometown, which is Bangalore. I think the way MYRA has it set up makes it as painless as possible for professors to come in and teach. So one of the reasons I like coming back.
So do you see any difference between previous batches and this batch?
Not really. The quality is about the same. I've usually tended to find that in comparison to the batches I teach abroad, these are mostly Indian students, right? For example, when I teach at Cambridge, I tend to find I have 40 nationalities in my class. That's much more difficult to teach because everyone is coming at it from a completely different background. In India, since MYRA is relatively new, that hasn't changed very much yet. But I'm hoping over time you can see more diversity in the quality, in the type of students which you get. The students are smart and they have a quantitative background. It's just a matter of persuading them to actually be more forthcoming in class.
True, true. And so what do you think about MYRA immersion model? Do you think it's 2 weeks, 1 to 2 weeks is enough time to learn advanced corporate finance, or do you have any suggestion on
Well, this is not really different from what many business schools in the West do. Like, for example, Cambridge. We have 36 hours of finance for the core MBAs, and that's they really need to do this. But they do this all in a period of 3 weeks. So, it's 12 hours a week. Now, at MYRA, we are doing a little more than that. But seriously, if you really are prepared for the classes, if you really do all the cases, it's not impossible to learn. It's an intensive model, and it's probably the only way you can get international people in and be willing to stay here for long periods of time. All of us have jobs outside. So, if you want to persuade me to stay here for 3 months to teach corporate finance, it's not going to happen. So, I guess that's, given the constraints, I think the immersion model is very good.
Nice. So finally, I want to ask you, what advice would you like to give to students at MYRA? How to approach MBA studies, how to face corporate world after MBA?
Well, the biggest piece of advice I can probably give to the students right now is don't be shy in expressing your opinion. Right? If you, at the end of the day, if you don't express yourself, no one's going to know that you're smart, that you have the answers. So, be outgoing. Learn what interests the other person and impress them. At the end of the day, it's your responsibility. If you don't impress the company, you're not going to get a job.
Thank you, sir. So it was wonderful to have you here, and we look forward to see you again next year.
All right. Thank you very much.